Hey, it's Growley. I'm back with the second in a series of 2 information videos for anybody with type 2 diabetes, or any types of diabetes. This would apply to anybody with type 1 as well, who has to inject insulin. The first video, if you go and watch that was about using a blood glucose testing machine. This is about how to use one of these. This is an injection pen, and so I don't use the bottle and needle and refilling it that way. So I've never been taught that method. I've always used these pre-loaded pens. Now, this is my particular one. You can get all sorts of different ones. There's a slow release. You can get quick acting insulin. You can get a mixture. I'm on a mixture. This is a 30% fast acting insulin. It also has a slow release part to it as well. Now, the pen itself, I'll say it's just like a ball pen. That's the cap that comes off when you're ready to use it, and obviously pops back on. Little thing to hook it into your pocket to carry it around with you. The important bit, turn it around so you can see it properly, is this bit on the end. Now this is the dosage dial. So you would work out through your glucose monitoring and obviously consult with your diabetic nurse specialist or your GPs to what your dosage should be. Over time you will learn to be able to titrate the dose and monitor your dose and increase or reduce it as appropriate for your specific needs. But initially always consult with your diabetic specialists. Whether that's the nurse or the GP, it doesn't matter, but medical profession, seek the advice first. Don't just kind of like think, I know how to do this and I'll do it myself. You could go seriously wrong and be very, very ill. Now, how to dial up the dose. This end bit here is a dial, and it literally just turns, and you can see as I turn it, if I go on there, as I turn it, the numbers go up, and I can turn it back and dial it down and back to 0. How to get the pen ready. There's another part to this, and it is the needle. Now these come where they just literally snap on to the end, and the needle's exposed. I'll go through that in a minute. But then once you've done, the third piece of equipment is this. Now this is called a needle clipping device. The important active bit is that little bit there. It's a tiny little hole, and that's where you would put the used needle to be able to clip it and make it safe. Obviously everything that's done through this system, it can all be disposed of safely in a normal waste. Once it doesn't have to have a specific biohazard thing. This is where your biohazard thing goes, and it's all, if you can hear it, needles inside there, safely stored away, can't do anybody any harm. The worst thing you could do is put hypodermic needles in the general waste and somebody gets a needle stick injury. Not good. So always use a needle clipping device to make it safe after you've done your injection. How you prime this, there's a trigger mechanism on the end, so you squeeze the end and the handle pops up. That is ready for clipping. So I'll leave that as it is, just put it to one side for the minute, and I'll show you how to use that once I've done the injection. Now, the injection itself, I will take the cap off and just put that to one side just for a minute. Now, this mixture here, this is the insulin, this white milky looking stuff. This has to be mixed. Now, how you do this, and the instruction leaflet will tell you, you place it in the palm of your hands and you roll it. Yeah? That's going to help mix the different parts of the suspension, the solution, together. Yeah? Once you've done that, normally they say about 10 times, you up and down. Now there's a little glass ball inside here that will shake backwards and forwards, just like mixing paint. For the Warhammer 40k models will know the ball bearing and mixing paints. So about 10 times again just to mix it. Now it should be a uniform cloudy colour all the way through. If there's still clear patches and cloudy patches, is not mixed properly. You need to mix it thoroughly so it's all uniform, clear and cloudy. Now on that, if I can balance that on my leg, right, this is the needle. Now it's just a protective thing on there. Grab hold of the tab and that just pulls off. That's just a paper that then can be disposed of. That is the bottom end of the needle. That has to go, if you can see closely, there's a little rubber piece right in the middle. So how to do that, keeping it as straight as possible, just push it on, you'll hear it go on and it will go to the end. You will then pull the outer cap off and just put that to one side for a minute because you still need that back in a minute. This is the inner cap, the needle is below this bit. Now at this point I would dial up my dosage, so I'll just do that now, so I know how many I'm going to do here. Right. So I've got my dosage dialed up. That's not good. Make sure it's mixed up though, dropping it. It's a glass vial, they are really sturdy. I'll say I've dropped these many a time, I'm clumsy. But yeah, doesn't do any damage unless you've taken the cap off, in which case you might have to put a new needle on if you've damaged the needle. If you blunt the needle, it can be painful putting that through the skin, so you need a clean, fresh needle every single time you do an injection. This is the bit that a lot of people struggle with, is actually injecting through the skin. Now the easiest way to do it is you can do it in thigh. I'm not going to drop my pants and shock the whole of the world with, you know, it's just not going to happen. So in the thigh is normally a good idea, or in the stomach area. So I normally go to the side here. Well, it can be done around the front, but you'll have to excuse this bit now because I have to expose skin. Right, so there's a bit of skin. You pinch. Now I find the easiest way to do that, to get the cap off, is either to do it before I pinch the skin or to do it with my teeth. That's fine either way. So for safety reasons, so you can see what I'm doing, I'll take that cap off, just pull it straight away from the needle, and again put it to one side. You'll need it again in a minute. So I'll come back to the injection site. So here I'm going to inject into my stomach. You want to try and pinch the skin, and you're putting the needle into the skin. Just give me a minute while I do this. Right, that's the needle put in. I would normally just put my finger underneath just to support, you can see there, just to support the end of the needle while I move to here. Now this is the trigger. What you do to inject the insulin is to push. Now can you hear it clicking? That's delivering the insulin underneath my skin. Then once you've got all the way and your dial is back down to 0, normally leave it till a count of 10 just to allow the pressure to equalise and the injection to finish itself, and then just pull straight out. Yeah? Don't bend, don't twist, you don't want the needle breaking in your skin. But that's it, that's my injection done. What we then need to do is make it safe. At the moment there's a hypodermic needle. You can just see a tiny spot of insulin just dribbling out because it's still under slight pressure. So for this I'll have to turn it slightly, put the needle through that hole there. So that's the hole just at the side there. The needle goes in and press. That click is the needle being cut. Now that fairly safe, I can touch that on the end, but it is sharp. Yeah, not enough to break my skin unless I really press on, but the way to protect that now is then to get your inner cap, put that back over there. That makes it safe. Now to get the thing off, your outer cap, put that on, just push fit on, and then turn it, twist it, and it will spiral off and eventually just pull off. Now that there is still the inner needle, which if you put your finger in there will stab you, it will draw blood, but that as it is quite safe to put in the general waste. That can be put away. The needle clipping device, that's done with for now. That can go back in wherever you keep it, and then the cap just goes back on with a click, back onto your pen, and that's done and sorted, ready for your next dosage. So hopefully you can see how easy that is. I know it may not have been easy to see exactly what I was doing with the needle and injection, but you get an idea of how you go about giving yourself an injection with one of these pens. Yeah, everything's done safely, cleanly, everything's put away and stored ready for the next time. So hopefully anybody who is new to having to inject insulin, maybe you're newly diagnosed as having diabetes, whether type 1 or type 2, it will both be relevant because you are having to inject. Hopefully that's useful. Shows you that it's not as scary. A lot of people think it's, oh, I've got to inject myself. It was really difficult for me because I had a needle phobia. It took me several weeks to get used to doing that, but now it's commonplace, it's second nature, and it's dead easy to do. Obviously you get used to it after a little while. So hopefully that's useful. If you are newly diagnosed, if you are new to injecting insulin, don't be afraid, and remember, stomach, pinch, or thigh, pinch the skin on your thigh, needle straight in, inject it, needle straight out, clip it, make it safe, and you're done for another dosage of your insulin. So hopefully that's useful. Thanks very much from Grawley's Lair.